All right, hey guys, it's been a while. Dr. Dan here. Just figured it might be a good time, a very fitting time to put together a video. As you guys know, I'm not really hot on putting these videos together, but I think now might be a good time to put something out there, just because there's a lot of unnecessary mass hysteria going on surrounding this coronavirus that's going around right now. This COVID-19, as it's named, which essentially is just essentially another serovar of a similar virus, the SARS-like virus that came around in 2003 or 4, I believe. So there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding this, and a lot of people taking it a bit too cavalier and not really worrying about it, and people at the other end of the spectrum who are worrying far too much and doing things that are not indicated, like mass shopping and clearing the supermarkets and Walmart of toilet paper and hand sanitizer and hoarding things and price gouging and all of this madness, which isn't necessary, but a good degree of precaution, healthy, logical precaution is necessary. So why don't we just get everyone up to speed and kind of delineate what the facts are as we know it, and go from there and proceed with good logic and good caution. So as far as Arkansas specifically goes, there have been 22 as of Monday today, 22 confirmed cases of this particular strain of coronavirus and no deaths. Okay, 22 cases and no deaths. Now, the number reporting, these are just confirmed cases. This is far underestimating the actual number of cases, because in the United States we haven't rolled out a real full scale testing protocol. Okay, we're fourth from the bottom in terms of number of tests per million people. Okay, so that's just something to consider. We're just starting at the log phase, meaning the steep upslope of the curve of infected cases, confirmed cases, so, or actual cases rather, but we're on the upslope of it, so we haven't quite seen the worst of it yet. We're headed in the direction of Italy, but we haven't reached there yet. So this is kind of what we need to do. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the precautions to take before, and I don't mind being repetitive and redundant with it, because I think everybody should know and just exercise the right degree of caution, not too much, not too little, just somewhere in the middle. So firstly, is hygiene, okay? Hand washing, protecting yourself. The best chance that you have to prevent yourself from getting ill is not touching your face like how I'm doing now. Washing your hands diligently. Use hot water and soap, hand sanitizer as well. Avoiding touching surfaces excessively, especially when you're out in public, and when you do touch surfaces, which is pretty much unavoidable. Make it a point to not inoculate yourself, your mucous membranes, your mouth, your nose, under your eyes, that sort of thing, with your hands. Be very careful of the touching of hands to face. That's really one of the major routes, because the virus can sequester itself on your skin and proliferate on your skin a lot easier than it can proliferate out in the air. Okay, so although it can be spread from airborne respiratory droplets, people coughing, sneezing, what have you, the main thing to look out for is self-inoculation. When you touch an object that has some sort of viral load, and then you inoculate yourself. So, again, hand washing, very important to be diligent with that. With respect to the airborne particles and droplets, social distancing, which I'm sure you guys have heard somewhat before. You want to keep yourself, if I were to kind of work from a heuristic, I'd say that something along the levels of 2 arm lengths. Your arm length and someone else's arm length. You don't want to get within someone's spray radius, okay? And if you are one who happens to cough or sneeze, you do want to cover your mouth. This I don't think is best, because you're just going to inoculate your hands and touch something else. This is better. The best is if you cough or sneeze into your shirt here, and trap it, okay, within you. That way it's not going to be released out into the air. That's my personal opinion. Going into your sleeve, you're still going to release some into the air. It's not keeping it sequestered from the outside environment, as well as if you just go into your shirt like that, okay? What else? Here in Northwest Arkansas, testing facilities. There are two actually here in Northwest Arkansas. Both are run through Washington Regional. The one is Washington Regional Urgent Care. That's at 3 East Appleby Road, Suite 101. There's also a coronavirus screening clinic at 3318 North Hills Boulevard. Okay, now everyone in there, the masses don't need to go out and get themselves tested for the coronavirus. Okay, this is only people who exhibit the coronavirus like symptoms. Okay, and this is essentially constitutional symptoms, flu-like illness. Okay, so what happens? People with coronavirus, this virus has a 2 to 7 day incubation period, meaning from the time that you get the virus into your body until the time that you start to exhibit symptoms, all right, 2 to 7 days, okay? And after you do start to exhibit, and the symptoms, fever, body aches, cough, and shortness of breath, those usually appear 2 days after the initial infection. This particular coronavirus serovar has a great predilection for the lung tissues, and we've seen a lot of these cases with rapid respiratory compromise, and this thing quickly progresses to a fulminant pneumonia, in which it affects the entire lung tissue, okay? And these people are quickly having to be sent to the ICU, put on ventilators, that sort of thing, all right? So really testing is only indicated for those who have these symptoms, right? These are flu-like symptoms, but these progress very rapidly and to a very high degree, okay? So the people who are most susceptible, a lot of people are wondering who is the most susceptible, who to look out for, who to protect, that sort of thing. So people who are above 50 are at greater risk. People with underlying immunosuppression, people with diabetes who have underlying immunosuppression, people on chronic steroids, people who have rheumatoid arthritis or other conditions that might mandate chronic systemic steroids, other conditions where you might be taking IVIG, immunoglobulins, things like that. Those are people who have an altered immune system, people with autoimmune disorders, that sort of thing, HIV, advanced AIDS, that sort of thing, people with a compromised immune system, they're at greater risk. Contrary to popular belief, children are not at a significantly higher risk for this coronavirus. So that's just something to keep in mind. I know there's been a lot of concern about children. Definitely keep everyone safe. My advice is to stay indoors, really for now until we can get an idea of how serious this actually is, because I believe it's going to get more serious. You want to limit the amount of actual public contact that you have. All right. That doesn't mean you have to stay inside all the time, but less is probably better, really, right now, until we can find out how serious this actually is. Because I don't believe we know. I believe it's going to get worse. But until we can get a handle of what's going on, we need to flatten that curve. We keep hearing this term, flattening the curve. And the only way we can do that is to stop the spread of new cases. What we're looking to do is contain this thing. So I think if everyone uses their good logical mind, doesn't freak out and go into mass hysteria, I think we can get this thing figured out. By the same time, we don't want to be too cavalier. Okay, we really don't want to be too cavalier. We want to focus on prevention. The best prevention is to get your immune system really, really ready. Nutrition is vitally important, guys. Stay hydrated. When I say nutrition, I mean things that can, anti-inflammatory type foods, garlic, fresh fruits, vegetables, those kinds of things. Basically, a healthy diet that you already should be consuming is the kind of thing that's going to help your immune system stay built up and be able to fend against pathogens. So being immune system ready is hugely, hugely important. So that's just something to keep in mind. And if you are having flu-like symptoms, you want to limit your exposure to other people, and you definitely do want to get yourself tested at this point. So definitely stay vigilant. Let me just check my notes, see if there's anything that I've left off. I think I've kind of hit all of my points here. Important stuff to remember. There is no medication right now to cure this coronavirus. All right. Some people are talking about using Tamiflu, which is the medication that we use for the influenza virus. No proven efficacy for that. Really, it's just supportive treatment now at this point, guys. All right. It's trying to enhance respiratory function for those who are affected right now. So it's just supportive care, meaning we don't have an exact treatment for it. There's a lot of investigational stuff. People talking about vaccines. The vaccines are not going to roll out until next year. This thing would have come and maybe abated, not really gone, but it would have kind of leveled off by that point. Vaccines are not going to come around in time for this. All right. It's not going to happen. I hope it does. I don't believe it realistically will happen. Okay. Basically what people are doing, our best chance right now is maybe passive immunization with antibodies from people who have already been infected. When people are infected, their bodies produce antibodies to try and combat whatever pathogen is invading. And what happens is after those people develop antibodies, those can be harvested and purified and injected into people to limit the amount of damage that the virus can do. Now, that's not going to be widespread rolled out to the public, not in my opinion. So the best case scenario is to not get infected and keep your immune system healthy and stay on that hand washing. If the hand sanitizers have been bought up and all that kind of stuff, isopropyl alcohol will work fine. Anything above 60%, okay, alcohol will work fine. All right, just keep that in mind. You can pour it right on your hands. Mind you, this will have a drying effect, so you want to keep your hands moist after that, because you don't want to disturb that epithelial barrier, that epidermal barrier that protects us. All right, this is our largest defense organ right here, so you want to keep that protected. When you wash, you guys be vigilant. Use warm water. Get in the interdigital webs. Things can sequester right here, right in the cuticle area by your nails. You want to keep those under your nails. You want to keep those in mind under your wedding band or rings, things like that. You want to be real mindful and vigilant with your hand washing, and really just stay on top of that. That will limit the spread very, very. I don't know about well, but it'll be your best chance. All right, it'll really be your best chance. So keep that in mind. Try not to touch your face. Limit exposure. When you meet people, make sure to observe social distance. Handshaking, that kind of stuff, I think is off. I'm not going to even bother with boom fisting, whatever. Just you probably want to keep your distance from people for now. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I'll make sure to stay on top of this, keep you guys updated. Thank you for listening. Y'all stay safe and be well, okay? See you guys. Bye.